Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is your boy Fantastik.
And doeboy.
We're just here to tell you that we made a new channel, Official 902 Records. Subscribe.
Don't subscribe.
Subscribe.
No.
Yes, really do.
Don't fucking listen to him.
He's not
Anyway, bye.
Bye.